GameStop stock surges 8% because it might get into Bitcoin. And what is all this speculation based on? Well, we got a picture on Twitter from the CEO, Ryan Cohen of GameStop, and Michael Saylor. And there was no caption on this when it got posted to Twitter. Literally, just this picture got posted on Twitter. And so everyone's speculating, wait, is GameStop going to be the next company to go into Bitcoin? And of course, we all know what happens if you have a huge pile of cash sitting in reserves and you're technically a zombie company. All of what happened to MicroStrategy, it would be a game changer for GameStop. Anyways, let's get into this article a little bit. So shares of GameStop or GME jumped over 8% Monday afternoon on speculation that the brick and mortar company may invest in Bitcoin. Over the weekend, the game retailer CEO, Ryan Cohen, shared a photo of himself with Michael Saylor, co-founder of Strategy, and the largest corporate holder of Bitcoin. And then, of course, is talking about their stock. The price was at $26 per share on Monday. And, of course, the photo was posted with no caption. It was just, posted, and it's sparking the speculation that maybe GameStop is exploring opportunities related to Bitcoin. And they wouldn't be doing this if they aren't seeing what's happening in the markets. Obviously, if you guys are on Twitter and you're seeing what's happening with MetaPlanet, they followed MicroStrategy. Their stock is going literally vertical yesterday. We covered this, I think it was Monday, and they were up 4,800%. I think now it might be 5,000% because yesterday went absolutely nuclear. And then, of course, as the article says, the connection between meme stocks and crypto, or we'll say Bitcoin. The relationship between Bitcoin and meme stocks like GameStop is not new. The entire GameStop saga of 2021 significantly impacted the quote-unquote crypto markets. Of course, in 2021, a small retail investors teamed up to collectively take advantage of GameStop's low share price. And of course, the infamous Roaring Kitty on YouTube. And of course, there was a movie about it. And everyone probably knows the aftermath that they freaking pumped the stock. There was a huge short squeeze. Remember the I just like the stock meme? And they basically blew up a hedge fund until they stopped trading on Robinhood and all the other trading apps. And of course, the reason we think that the real short squeeze on the financial system would be Bitcoin is because they can't just stop you trading your Bitcoin. There is no off button. And if you've been in Bitcoin for a while and close to the shitcoin markets, there is no Vitalik moment where it's like, can you guys please stop trading? No. Once Bitcoin starts running, there is no off button. And so I've been saying for a long time that I found it very interesting that a lot of people from the GameStop movement, the AMC movement, didn't all start to flow into Bitcoin. They kind of had Stockholm syndrome as far as I'm concerned because they just kept playing in the stock market versus if they really understood what they were doing, they would eventually port themselves over to Bitcoin. And so I think this would be an incredible marriage here. GameStop did go $5 billion deep into Bitcoin. As you can see here, it's not exactly $5 billion, but here's the GameStop Yahoo Finance page. And you can see here their end cash position is roughly $4.6 billion. So it's close to $5 billion, and they're sitting on the sidelines in cash. I tried to look it up this morning. I don't know how long they've been in cash, but hey, if you round it up, $5 billion cash reserves the last couple of years, even if the inflation rate is roughly around 10%, what's that? They've lost about $500 million in purchasing power. Whereas if they put that in Bitcoin, they could have doubled, tripled, 4x their reserves here. And again, as Max Kaiser is saying here on Twitter, the GME putting $5 billion into Bitcoin would be another major milestone in the global Bitcoin treasury revolution pioneered by Saylor. And you can see the picture here. Now, the very interesting thing, like I said in the beginning, in the hook of this is when Saylor started the MicroStrategy position, his company was about $1 billion. He had close to around $500 million in cash reserves. And now the company's market cap is around $80 billion. And of course, everyone knows how much their cash reserves are now in Bitcoin. He's done incredible work here. And GameStop's cash reserves are 5 times the size of, or rather, the company is 5 times bigger. The reserves are, I think, at 10 times what it was when MicroStrategy started. So if GameStop makes this move, and goes full in on Bitcoin, dumps all their cash reserves in Bitcoin, that would not only be incredible for the short squeeze on Bitcoin, the price buying pressure that we'd see, but I think it would start a whole new revolution of all these people that basically meme stock GameStop to blow up a hedge fund. Now, if all those people poured it over into Bitcoin or even just did another GameStop short squeeze, I think it would really blow up the market for a lot of people, open a lot of eyes for people, and realize that Bitcoin is the real short squeeze on the financial system. And once that starts catching on, man, it's really going to be some game-changing stuff here. So, of course, we are kind of speculating here. We don't know exactly what's going on with GameStop, but I think the clue of him hanging out with Michael Saylor, you can just venture to guess that the whole conversation that he had with Michael Saylor was figuring out how GameStop can do a MicroStrategy Bitcoin strategy, or a strategy Bitcoin strategy now, however you want to name it. And so very interesting stuff. Now, of course, we don't know what's coming down the pipeline, but like I said, I've always found it interesting that the GameStop people, you know, all the kids out there buying on Robinhood, that they didn't end up in Bitcoin. I know a few friends had end up in Bitcoin because of the GameStop movement, and once they realized the rug pull, that they found their way in the Bitcoin movement. But I was kind of astonished in 2021 that we didn't see a lot more of those GameStop people get into Bitcoin. But maybe this is going to be the point. Maybe this is the catalyst now for them to start to understand Bitcoin is their favorite meme stock, getting into Bitcoin, talking to Michael Saylor, looking at MicroStrategy, and of course seeing what MetaPlanet is doing. Like, all these factors are kind of culminating into a perfect storm where, hey, if you don't have Bitcoin, your stock might be dead. And remember, zombie companies are everywhere on NASDAQ right now, and all they really need is some turbo jet fuel by adding Bitcoin to their balance sheet. So I found this very interesting yesterday when we kind of saw this new news. But the real interesting part is that mainstream or corporate press is kind of picking up on this. They're kind of connecting the dots. It's like, oh, wait, GameStop stock, surged 8%, an incredible 8% because of just a picture of Saylor with the CEO of GameStop. Incredible stuff happening, and it's going to be very interesting if he does finally pull the trigger on this one. So exciting times. How about I know Dom's been sitting here trying to chime in here. Dom, what's your take on the GameStop CEO and Saylor hanging out?
Yeah, so you can get a similar pop from just being seen in a photo with Nico. That will also boost, because if you're talking to my guy Nico, you're also considering some Bitcoin stuff. But Saylor obviously elevates that. So that's crazy that you can just take a photo with Saylor and have an effect. That just lets you know how heavy Saylor is in the game right now. That'd be pretty cool if it goes down. They say that you are the company you keep. And I mean, that also involves the assets that you keep on your balance book. So companies that hold Bitcoin, they keep good company and good things happen. And we see a lot of benefits. You mentioned MetaPlanet. What's that thing up, like 4,000%? So this is the way. Bitcoin is the future, and companies have to start holding something of value, and they have to do it quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%, man. And like you said, Opti, the biggest tell, I think, is the GameStop CEO in that picture with right next to Saylor. What do you think they're talking about? Do you think they're talking about, the
New York Times, journalistic integrity,
the Super Bowl?
Right? No, they're talking about Bitcoin. Like Saylor, like, he did that 3-minute presentation for Microsoft where, like, he literally told Microsoft they're going to have fun staying poor if they didn't buy Bitcoin. And GameStop, like, now the games are like digital now these days. Like, what else is that company going to do? And it kind of reminds me of MetaPlanet. Like, MetaPlanet was essentially a zombie hotel chain. Like, they almost went out of business due to the pandemic. And then they implemented a Bitcoin strategy. Dylan LeClaire joined the company. And since then, they're up 4,800%, a 48x, right? And they didn't really have an underlying company. They just became a Bitcoin holding company. So if GameStop, and it already has a lot of good faith too, with like what you're saying, Opti, with like a lot of these Zoomers, they're trying to rebel against the the system, like the whole Wall Street bets movement. Everyone's just buying GameStop to buy GameStop, Roaring Kitty, like, you know, so it has a lot of mimetic power. And we know that on the internet, mimetic power goes a very long way. So if the news broke that GameStop was going to start buying Bitcoin, like, you know what? I miss MicroStrategy. I miss MetaPlanet. But that will be very attractive to me to buy some GameStop, because I think that stock will go through the roof. It will go through the roof. Like, could you imagine like and all those all those hedge funds that try to kill GameStop with all the short squeezes and all the things that they essentially were betting against GameStop dying. It was like the community. It was just like a bunch of millennials that were just basically like, no, like, we're not going to let it die on our watch. We're going to keep this thing alive. And they did just that, right? So yeah, man, I mean, let's see what happens. I think it would be explosive for the stock, therefore the company. I think it'd be a great opportunity for anyone who's like looking at the GameStop, the GameStop stock, because if it follows in the foot, even if it does half or, you know, 25 or 30 or 40% of, you know, what MetaPlanet did or what MicroStrategy did, I mean, that's a hell of a return in a very short amount of time. So, I mean, I think it's going to happen. I think it's an obvious move. What else are they going to do? Like, what else are they going to do? How are they going to pivot? All the games are digital now. Like, people don't go to the store. Like, are they going to let themselves become Blockbuster, or are they going to pivot into a Bitcoin strategy? Like, if Bitcoin were around when Blockbuster was going out of business, I don't think Blockbuster would have gone out of business.
No, they would have been mining blocks, and they would have been a different kind of blockbuster. They would have been busting blocks all day. You know what I mean? They would have figured it out.
They don't even need to change the fucking name. No. Dom is spot on. They don't even need to change the name. They could have just kept it. Bitcoin could have saved Blockbuster straight up. So yeah, I mean, I think we're going to see this specifically with companies that they don't see a way out. They feel like they're trapped. You know, we heard this story from Michael Saylor. Like, essentially, he's like, look, I was looking to retire. I couldn't compete with Microsoft. I couldn't compete with Oracle. And then he found an edge, and that edge was Bitcoin. And now he's the best performing stock. And Japan, you know, first Japanese company to do it. They're the best performing stock in the Japanese stock market. That trend ain't going to stop. They just found the cheat code. They found the financial cheat code, and that financial cheat code is Bitcoin, of course.
For sure. And then look, we know to your point, Nico, the race is just getting faster and it's accelerating. And we know the money supply is leading that pace. And so again, what seems not like an emergency now, the reason why we advocate so much to learn about Bitcoin is the time to do it is not when the race is full sprint ahead and it's time to catch up. For a company like GameStop, the time is now. You only have a limited time where you can get in a good position. Not just in Bitcoin, just getting your whole company in a good position. And eventually, suddenly, gradually, then suddenly the race will become too much and companies will start falling off. It's just unfortunate.
100%. It's a snowball. I think it's inevitable. Every company is going to adopt Bitcoin at one point or the other. The only question is, how long is it going to take, right? And the longer it takes, the less Bitcoin you're going to be able to acquire, because it's going to be a lot more expensive.
Need liquidity without having to sell your Bitcoin? For more than 6 years now, Ledn has been the trusted choice for Bitcoin-backed lending, with transparency, security, and trust at their core. I absolutely love these guys, and I personally have not only an account with them, but also a loan. And some of the key features that I love about Ledn is the fact that there are no monthly payments. You pay at the end of the term. You also have the ability to roll over the loan as well, and you can pay it back whenever you want. Essentially, what they do is that they help their clients unlock the liquidity of their BTC, allowing you to HODL while still accessing the wealth of your Bitcoin. They've been battle tested with their focus on transparency, security, and trust allowing them to build a proven track record of client success and security, helping tens of thousands of clients harness the value of their digital assets with confidence and peace of mind. Learn more about what your BTC can do for you. Check out Ledn.io today.